And welcome to Trigger Point Research Setups. You know, the whole idea here and why we're doing this is that if you're ever thinking about, hey, I want to get involved in a stock, or I want to maybe long or go short, where do I get my ideas? Well, that's what we're providing you here, and the service that we provide at Trigger Point Research with our alerts for breaking up, breaking down, and for bounce alerts that give you email or text messages immediately when we see a very highly probable situation that is occurring. Now, what we're doing here is we're talking about setups. We're talking about five below today, and we're looking at a very simple chart here. This is a stock that is like a dollar store, but it's a $5 store. And what it does is it basically is a retailer, and it IPO'd back in July of 2012. Stock has been doing very nicely, although it had a bumpy ride throughout the last month or so. Now, what's interesting about this is if you look at the general pattern, we're seeing some support here down about the 39 level or so. And when we look at those kind of things, you got to look at where is our real support going to be, and where's the breakout potential. So let's kind of switch over to a daily here, and let's then see what is exactly going on here and what we're seeing that may be very interesting. So when we look at the daily, and we are seeing that there is a good amount of upside action in this month, and we can take a look at this and show that obviously there was a pretty good uptrend that occurred from about 35 when it did in fact bounce off of its support that we saw on a daily basis of about 35.5. Now, when you look at this and you see this chart, again, if you just look at this as a basic chart without any of the indicators that we're showing you here, what we're seeing is that you are looking at a chart that shows a pretty bumpy ride. Looking back even further here, what you're seeing is that you have a real move up and then a consolidation, and you can possibly even say that possibly at about the $41 range there was a double top that occurred that there was a lot of resistance at. Now, let's look at what we're looking at here, and we're going to put on the altimeter, and we're going to zoom in a little bit here. I want to show you something. So what I really want to kind of go over here and why this is an interesting potential for what we would call a bounce and then potential break up is take a look right here where we see a cluster of support and resistance areas. Now, these are market profiles based on the tick by tick volume and price action. As a matter of fact, let's kind of show you that and look what we're looking at here. So when we see that, we're seeing that there is this look. Now, here's a couple of things you need to pay attention to. First of all, while we're seeing that there is this support that we talked about before, take a look down here that really there's no volume distribution. When we look at this, when you look at there is the purple lines here, see the purple, and then you get into the red over here. That's where the real support is, down about 36. But what you're seeing here is a shape, and take a look at this shape. This shape is basically it's a B, if you can consider that. The shape is like this. You see that? Here is kind of like that also, although this has a center section. Here, another one, look. When you see the areas down there that have a significant amount of the red and the volume distributions, well, what we're seeing is that basically that we're holding a very significant amount of support there. At the same time, where we have these right here, where we're going and looking at there's no volume distribution. Let's clean this up a little bit. That's where we're seeing there's the potential. So what we're looking at here is the potential for a breakout about above $40 and change, about let's call it $40.29 if it does break. And it had a nice bounce right here at the $38, $39 range, and that did coordinate right here with our support that we talked about. So when we look at five below, what I would be looking for and why this is a setup is that there's really not much action above the 40.5, 40 1/4 level, and that looks like it could break out because there's really nothing there, even looking back over to the April time period. And if we zoom out a little bit more, we can see this a little bit more distinctly. So we'll be watching this and seeing if this confirms. And if you want to check it out, go over to triggerpointresearch.com. Check out the free trial. Of course, 14 days, you get the whole package. You get the alerts as well, the emails, etc., and our mid-weekly write-ups. Thanks a lot for joining me. Check it out. See you soon. Bye-bye.